Last night, Kim was sad. And she was sad because one, seasons change, and there's a pattern to the world. There's a pattern to your planet that goes around and goes around and goes around. Some of you like to fight the pattern, and some of that fighting comes in the 12-month structure versus a 13-month structure. And some of you like to fight it because of daylight savings time. And then daylight savings time adds to your sadnesses because all at once you lose an hour of brightness. And then you think this is hard. And if you were just naturally on the cycle of the sun, you wouldn't have this hard moment that comes every year in about, you'll have it about, Kim says it'll be 2 weeks. You make it harder on yourselves. But the thing is, as leaves quiet, you should quiet. We don't want to should on you though. So please don't take our should to be a should, right? It's like a as you quiet, as the world quiets, you quiet, right? You pull in a bit more. You do sweatery things where you clutter under blankets and you drink the drinks and you read the books and you quiet it down. The problem with Earth is that you have actually sped up. If you were an agrarian society still, if you lived like the Amish do, right, you would quiet because at dark you would light candles and that's all you have and that's all the light you have. And then it would be expensive to have electricity or to have candles lighting, right? It would be expensive to have candles lit. And so you would actually quiet down earlier. You would get more sleep. You would get more rest. Kim went to Alaska years ago, and when she was there, it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and the sky was orange coming into the airport. The way it's orange in your winter sunsets, the sky turns orange. Everything turned orange inside the airport in this sunset. And Kim thought it was beautiful, but it was 11:30 at night. She was like, "This is weird." And everybody behind the counter at the airport was like, "What are you doing tonight?" And people were like, "I'm gonna go do laundry and then I'm gonna watch some movies." And one person was like, "I want to go for a run." Another person was like, "I want to do this. I want to go grocery shopping." And they're like, "Okay, you guys all do those things, and then we will meet up and watch a movie together." And I was like, well, Kim was like, right? She was like, "Wait, what? What? It's 11:30 at night. You people are gonna meet at 2 a.m. to go do these things? And then when do you sleep?" And so Kim asked somebody about this a thing that she saw, and she goes, "They all go home and go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning?" And they're like, "No, they will stay up with the sun, and they stay up all night. As maybe they might get 2, 3 hours of sleep, but while there is sun, they grab sun, because just like the sun never actually set and only turned orange and then came back up at 1:30 in the morning." They don't go to sleep. They would use all of the sunlight, and then in the winter, they sleep the way through. And then when the sun comes back out, they start to wake up. And so that they take all the sunlight they can. They grab it and they do everything they can with it because they know that in 6 months it's going to be very dark. And so for you right now, for Kim on Friday night, yes, she had a very hard conversation with her mom in some ways. Easy for Kim, but hard in content, emotional. And then she came home and was feeling blue. And we want to address the blue because there are a lot of things that are going on in your world right now that are not necessarily happy. Some of you feel like you're on pause. Some of you feel like it's coming into darkness. Some of you feel like you don't know which way is up or down, right? You don't know where you're headed. And some of you are looking at your news and saying, what world am I living on? Like, what planet is this that this is what is occurring? And so we want to say there are plenty of things that can detract from your peace. And we want to say peace is the most important thing. It's the thing you need to guard the most. It's the thing you guard more than your house, right? It's the thing you guard more than your dog and your kids, right? Your own personal peace. Not to say you don't guard your dog and kids. You don't guard your dog and kids, but you guard your peace more, right? You guard your peace more. How do you guard your peace when you've got so much information coming at you in unprecedented ways about unprecedented things? One, you decide how much of that you're going to take in, how much your soul can handle. How big is your basket of capacity for things that overwhelm you? And then you decide what are the things that overwhelm me and what can I handle personally? And then some of you might say, well, I have to know what's going on because it makes me feel like I'm in control. We have something very sad to tell you. And Kim is learning that this week. This is Kim's lesson this week. Kim has zero control, zero control. And we want to let you know you have zero control too. You feel like you have control. You want control. You want to feel like your life is in your hands. But we have to tell you, you have almost no control. What you have control over is how you feel. That is pretty much all you have control over. And how you feel is directly linked to what you think. And so we encourage you to spend more time pouring into you in positive ways. So Kim last night sat and she did lots of things in her sadness. She listened to a book, she fell asleep on her chair, she ate a half a pint of ice cream, and then she doom scrolled because that definitely made her feel better, right? She definitely fell into Facebook and was like, "Oh, this is right," and did that thing where you all look at it and then it doesn't actually make you feel better, it makes you feel worse. And eventually she looked at herself and said, "This is almost 1 o'clock in the morning. What the heck am I doing right now? This is not how I want to be spending my sad time. I should be asleep, and I wouldn't be sad if I were asleep." That's an actual thought that she had. Did she go to bed? No. But what she did do instead is she pulled out this song on Spotify. And the song she sent out, she sat with and she put her hands over her chest. And the song is one of those songs that you're not supposed to think anything negative when you listen to it, or else you bring negative into your life. You can only listen, you don't only think, you should only think positive things because then you're bringing whatever that song, whatever your thoughts are when that song is on, this song magnifies it basically. It amplifies your mood. And so Kim was like, I'm not going to think of the guy I'm trying to bring in. I'm not going to think of the money I want, or I'm not going to try and think about bills. I'm not going to try and think about the things that worry me. All I'm going to do is focus on creating good feeling inside my chest. And so she put both hands on her chest and played the song. It's a 23-minute song. She is surprised she didn't fall asleep because it was almost 1 o'clock in the morning. She put both hands on her chest and she breathed and she amplified the feeling of peace. She created a feeling of peace and then she amplified the feeling of peace. And so, what we would like you to do, if you trust us and you're comfortable, we would like you to close your eyes. We'd like you to put yourself into your sit, right? Find your seat. Notice where your butt meets the chair or the thing you're sitting on. Notice where your feet are. Some of you are grounded by your feet on the ground. And if your feet aren't on the ground, Kim's feet are never on the ground, except they are right now, which is ironic. That's not how she grounds. So I want you to imagine that the earth energy is coming up into your body. Maybe it's coming up through the couch you're sitting on. Maybe it's coming up through your feet. However, it's coming up to you, you can feel the earth energy meeting you because you and the earth are in a relationship with each other just as much as you and the thing you're sitting on are in a relationship with each other. The thing you are sitting on has a relationship with the ground it's on, which has a relationship with the earth. You trust both the earth and the thing you're sitting on, or else you wouldn't be sitting on it. And notice all of that. Notice air coming in and going out. And as Isabel likes to say, like, I want to connect with my heart center. I want to connect with my heart piece because that is where the seat of the soul is. That in your gut, the whole thoracic area. And just for a moment, see how big you can make the piece. Can you make it as big as your entire abdomen? Can you fill your body with it? If that feels too hard, or if you were successful, woohoo, if you were successful, right? But if that feels too hard, or that wasn't, you were successful, can you then fill maybe an inch outside of yourself with it? Well, that feels fabulous. Go ahead and see if you can press out a little bit more. How far out can you go? Before you start to lose it, find out where your edges are. So go out with all of your peace and all of your love. And how far can that go? Can you fill the room? Can you fill the space you're in? The whole space, all of it, from door to door, from basement to ceiling, if there is one. Can you fill your property, the entire property you're on? And again, when you hit your limit and you just sit in your limit and don't be ashamed of where your limit is, right? We're just playing. This is totally play. There's no judgment here. There's no like how far you can go versus how somebody else can go. So if you've never done this, it might feel really uncomfortable. All right. Can you fill your block? The grid marks that line out the space that is a quote unquote block for your house. Can you fill that? What about the thing you call a neighborhood? What about the thing you call a town? Can you fill that? A county? This is where Kim's brain starts to become too small, and she has to picture her county on a map and be like, I can fill all that space. But then she can't think about it in actual ground space because then it becomes too big. But on a map space, yes, she can totally fill that. What about your state? Can you fill your state? What about your region of the nation? Ready? If you're on the East Coast, can you fill like from Maine to Florida? And if you're on the West Coast, can you do Washington to California? And then start inching over so that you start pushing out across the country. If you're on the East Coast towards the West, and if you're on the West Coast towards the East, maybe you'll notice you bump into somebody else's energy along the way as you pass by each other. What about the continent? Can you do the whole continent? The oceans, Atlantic and Pacific, South America. We've made a whole column all the way straight up the side of the planet. Can you start spreading that out around the rest of the planet and just kind of embrace the entire thing in a hug? Sending your energy all the way around so that you meet yourself somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic and somewhere around the middle of the Pacific, going over all of Europe, Australia, the Asian countries, Europe, Africa, and all the little islands in between. And don't forget to wash up to the Arctic and down below to the Antarctic so that your energy has completely your love and peace and hope and joy and excitement and just good feeling, right? Your soul light has just wrapped itself around the planet. And now I ask if you can, whatever your space is, however big that is, however small it is, right? However much you're able to fill if it's just your house versus the entire globe. This is the part that makes Kim cry. See how bright you can make it. Go ahead, light it up. Fill it with fairy lights. Joy and exuberance, however you want to picture it, that you have lit it up and make it really, really bright. Remind you that you are a soul inside of a body that has just sent your light and love across and around. And so I want you to make a decision right now. And that is, do you want to release the energy out that you've just given? Do you feel like you need to hold on to it? Do you need to, like, you just sent out energy, right? For yourself, your being, what feels best for you? Do you feel like you need to let it go a little bit? Do you feel like you need to pull up some energy out of the ground to replace what you just sent out in love? Do you feel like you need to, like, release it and allow it to go, knowing you are completely whole as you are, as you have just freely given? However you want to do this, it's completely up to you. But I want you to come back to your body because right now you are a soul inside of a body, even though it feels like you just gave the planet a hug. And I would like you to give this body a little bit of gratitude. Thank you for being so strong. Thank you for carrying me through everything I've gone through. Thank you for helping me feel my feelings. Thank you for helping me experience all of the experience I've had. Thank you that you are so wonderful that as we age, right, as we're getting a little older, we are still connected to source, which gives us a different kind of energy than those around us who are aging get. Gosh, I am so grateful.